What's up, fight fans? I'm MMA's unwanted stepchild, Tommy Toehold. And if you're like the other 32 million Americans that enjoy playing fantasy football, you know the soul-crushing emptiness that comes at the end of the year when you're no longer controlling your pretend football team from your basement. Which is why I gave that shit up years ago and found fantasy MMA through Kountermove.com. This shit is easier than taking down James Toney, guys. You make an account, you pick a tournament, some are for cash, some are for free, some have cartoon characters whose fantasy picking abilities are on par with the quality of their shows. Once you're in, you've got 25,000 fake dollars to draft 5 real fighters. Each tourney spans a single card and is determined on how well you picked on just one night. So you don't have to spend 18 weeks sucking at life because you couldn't make it to that sports bar across town for your league's fantasy draft. Once you've chosen your team based on who you think's gonna have a Joe Lozon kind of night, invite your friends because kicking a total stranger's ass is fun, but kicking your friend's ass is the reason you have friends in the first place. When the fight card starts, it's time to rub that lucky mouthpiece from high school or do whatever inconsequential superstitious activity you think will result in your desired outcome, because fantasy MMA is just like fantasy football. Performance equals points. If your fighter wins in the first round, that's 100 points right there, and you're well on your way to Scrooge McDuck status. But early finishes aren't the only way to rack them up. Submission attempts, knockdowns, takedowns, dominant positions, and significant strikes are all gonna get you closer to the top of the fantasy MMA universe.
How do they score that shit so quickly, Tommy?
Great question, Natasha Wicks. Professional hot person, world-class distance runner, and Team Kountermove member. It's called Fight Metric. They keep real-time stats like a boss. Once the card is over, your tourney's done, and if you finished in the money, it'll go into your account. Fuck yeah.
But Tommy, is this legal?
Another great question, Natasha. Let's have my friend Crooklyn, MMA journalist and Team Kountermove member, explain.
Of course it's fucking legal. It's a fucking fantasy sport just like fucking fantasy football, you fucks.
Thank you, Crookie. Fight fans, I wouldn't steer you wrong. Kountermove.com is 16 tons of fun. They've been around for half a decade, and it's gonna make you give a shit about the Facebook prelims as much as you care about the main event. So stop whatever stupid shit you're doing right now and head to Kountermove.com. Sign up. I will see you on the leaderboard, bitches. Look for me near the bottom.